Today, we're not just talking about second citizenship. We're talking about the most dangerous myths and illusions around it. Myths that cost people money, legal status, and years of their lives. On social media, second citizenship is often sold like buying a new smartphone. Leave a request, and in a couple of months, you'll have a new passport. This is exactly where it's important to stop and look at reality with a clear head. In this video, we'll break down 8 of the most common myths about second citizenship so you don't fall into gray schemes, don't lose your money, and don't end up with a passport that gets cancelled years later. My name is Mia, and you're watching the Visa Dan channel, where we make immigration, visas, residence permits, and citizenship clear and achievable. You have probably seen ads like, get a second passport in 3 to 6 months, no stress, minimal documents, no interviews, we'll handle everything for you. But the reality is this. Any legal citizenship program, whether through investment or naturalization, does not start with submitting documents. It starts with analysis. And it always has several stages. The first stage is assessing your situation. Are you actually eligible for a specific program? Do you meet the requirements? What risk exists in your case? And what timelines are realistically possible? Only after that does document preparation begin. Application forms, translations, identity documents, proof of marital status, addresses, income, and source of funds. Then comes due diligence, and this is not a formality. In serious jurisdictions, authorities check criminal records, sanctions list, media mentions, source of capital, business and political connections, and immigration history. Only when all these stages are completed does the application and final legal procedure begin. So, when someone promises you a passport in 3 to 4 months without serious checks, the real question is not how they sped things up, but which mandatory steps they removed and what that may mean for you years later. You've probably also seen ads like Romanian passport by Ancestry guaranteed in 6 months, no interviews, no travel, 4, 5, or 7,000 euros discount until the end of the week. It's presented as something completely legal, almost routine. We just know where your documents are stored. But reality is very different. Investigation in recent years have shown that so-called citizenship by roots has often been surrounded by criminal schemes, where ancestors are fabricated, archive records are forged, fake addresses are created, and mass applications are submitted. Official investigations in Romania, widely covered by major media, described cases where thousands of people received Romanian documents through fictitious residences, forged papers, and corrupt connections. Some cases even involved stolen or invented identities, including the use of personal data of deceased individuals. What does this mean for you as a viewer? If an agent tells you, we'll prove your ancestry, you don't need documents, just pay, everything is legal, there is a very high chance that you're becoming part of a scheme, not a lawful citizenship restoration process. And here is the uncomfortable part. The risks are not theoretical. They include criminal cases against organizers and intermediaries. Citizenship revocation years later, where the state starts cleaning registers, and the leakage of your personal data, which may already be circulating under other identities. Put simply, a 4,000 euros passport. In its gray version, it usually means a chain of forged records, fake addresses, and people solving issues by bypassing the law. The legal version looks very different. Archives, genealogy, verifiable ancestors, careful document collection, and often very long timeliness. Another common myth sounds like this. If I've already received a certificate or passport, it can never be taken away. People think the state won't revoke a passport over formalities. If it was issued, it's forever. In reality, most countries' laws allow citizenship obtained not by birth to be revoked if it was acquired through fraud, concealment, material facts, or forged documents. And this is not a theory. For example, after scandals around the investment citizenship program, Cyprus launched rechecks and in subsequent years revoked citizenship from investors and family members when violations were discovered. Public reports mentioned hundreds of such cases. In Caribbean countries, there are also cases where citizenship obtained through investment programs was cancelled after issuance, once compromising circumstances emerged. The key point here is that citizenship may remain untouched for 5 to 10 years until political will or external pressure triggers registry reviews. So the right question is not will they issue the passport, it's how clean and defensible the path I'm choosing. Another dangerous myth is gray or black markets are the same thing, just without bureaucracy, a phrase that should immediately raise red flags. Lawyers are slow and expensive, but our people have connections. The passport is real, everything is handled. In practice, the market is divided into two types. The gray market, where the document may be formally real, but the path involves corruption, fake records, forged certificates, or imitation of legal requirements. And the black market, where you're promised an original passport with no legal basis at all. Special decrees, closed decisions, VIP naturalization. In reality, you either receive a fake document or something you cannot legally renew or defend at a consulate. Here is a key rule to remember: if you cannot calmly walk into consulate, show your decision or certificate, and clearly explain the legal basis of how you obtain it, you're not a citizen. You're a holder of problematic document. Let's move on. Many people believe second citizenship is just about visa-free travel. Yes, social media loves numbers. Visa-free to 140 countries. Schengen, the UK, and the US in one passport. But the real value of second citizenship goes far beyond that airports. It is a backup jurisdiction if rules suddenly change in your first country. It's the ability to plan family safety, children's education, business structures, and assets. It is a strategic tool that gives options in times of crisis, something clearly demonstrated by pandemics, wars, and abrupt visa policy changes. There is also an expectation trap. A stamp in a passport will solve everything. In reality, entry regimes change faster than people manage to obtain citizenship, and without understanding taxes and obligations, a second passport can create new problems. Some countries have tax rules linked not only to residency. For certain individuals, poor planning can turn a passport into a very expensive mistake. That's why at Visaden we always start by understanding your goals and your plans. So your second citizenship brings freedom and flexibility, not new complications. Another common fear-based myth: second citizenship always means giving up your first one. In reality, many countries allow dual citizenship. In many citizenship by descent cases, renouncing your current citizenship is not required at all. But there are nuances. Some jurisdictions restrict dual citizenship for specific categories of people. In some countries, voluntarily acquiring another citizenship may automatically lead to loss of the first, depending on the law. Here, manipulation happens on both sides. Some scare you with "you'll definitely lose your first passport." Others stay silent about mandatory renunciation when it truly applies. At Visaden, we always start with your exact profile and the interaction of laws, because averages don't work here. You'll also often hear second citizenship is only for billionaires. Social media show yachts, offshore companies, millions, creating the illusion that citizenship is a closed club. The reality is broader. Even many investment programs historically had entry thresholds in the hundreds of thousands, not billions. And citizenship by descent is often not about large investment at all. The main costs are legal work, translations, archives, and the document collection. Think about this comparison. A person buying an apartment for 250,000 to 300,000 euros is often the same financial range as minimum thresholds of some investment programs. The question is not only do you have money, it's what do you prioritize? Walls or a long-term strategy for security and choice? And finally, one of the most dangerous assumptions, if something goes wrong, I'll say I was deceived. This is psychological self-protection, but legal reality is usually much harsher. Almost everywhere, the applicant personally signs documents confirming that all information is complete and accurate. These signatures are often notarized. In investigations into fraudulent citizenship schemes, authorities often conclude that applicants understood they were participating in something suspicious. Large payments, promises of no documents, ancestors they couldn't verify, even if some people truly didn't understand the details, that rarely prevents citizenship revocation, because the state looks at documents and facts, not feelings. So remember this, your signatures matter more than what an Instagram manager told you. So what should you do to avoid mistakes? If you're considering second citizenship, don't start with where is it faster. Start with where is it legal and safe. A proper strategy almost always begins with verification. Do you qualify for citizenship by descent? Which path is realistic in terms of time and budget? What documents are truly required? What risks exist? How will due diligence be handled without surprises? This is where the Visa team comes in. We don't sell dreams in 3 months. We build roadmaps, prepare documents, assess risks, and manage the process so your status remains defensible today and 5 to 10 years from now. If you're considering relocation or second citizenship, message us. The Visa team will select optimal solution for your goals and take you all the way to secure result. Contacts are in description. This was Mia with Visa. Subscribe to the channel, ask your questions in the comments, and see you in the next video.